Center, East Lansing, Michigan, on the campus of Michigan State, and it is getting loud in here, and why not? Because the Spartans red hot. They've won 11 in a row. And Miles Bridges is back in the house. They give him a little standing go. He had some great moments here, of course, as the crowd acknowledges him. But not playing tonight. He's going to watch on tonight. And a kiss, Jim.
A kiss. Hey, listen, he made a lot of magic here. Plus, he made a lot of money now. He can kiss that. He's all right. He's good.
Yeah, he did. And a hug, of course, for Tom Izzo. That's great to have Bridges back here for the Spartans, getting ready as they get set to be introduced. But it's Maryland, and you talked, Jim, before we went to the break about this young Terrapin team. They've been playing great. They've been playing hot. And you said the noise and how they're going to handle it, right? So what are we looking for here? I don't know, the first 8 minutes of the game. What gives us an idea of whether they're able to kind of hang here?
Well, we'll see how they hang and how they operate offensively. Are they sped up? Are they turning the basketball over, taking quick shots? Because this freshman group has been very solid in maintaining a lot of poise. And when you're not used to this environment that you're going to see here, an experience at the Breslin Center, it can throw you for a loop. That's why Anthony Cowan Jr. is so important at the beginning of the game, that he kind of calms the nerves a little bit of the young players, because this is something they haven't experienced yet.
Yeah, and they'll see if they can hang here tonight against Michigan State. Again, #1 in the conference with the loss of Michigan over the weekend. And now Michigan State about to be introduced to this crowd. They are set to let it rip here at the Breslin Center in East Lansing. So far in the Big Ten, and excited to hear the call of this one. I'm going to send it 1.5 feet to the guys to my left. Joe Davis and Steve Lavin. Joe.
And it's just as loud over here, Kevin, with first place on the line in the Big Ten. And you said it, still early on in the season, for the game of the year to this point in the conference. Michigan State and Maryland with the latest AP rankings out today. A top 15 matchup with the Spartans, the lone unbeaten in the Big Ten. Maryland now at 7-1, a half game ahead of Michigan, which dropped its first game against Wisconsin on Saturday. We are glad you're with us. It is freezing cold outside. It is rocking in here, though, and for good reason, Steve. We've got a 7-game winning streak against an 11-game winning streak, and within this matchup, some really intriguing one-on-one matchups to watch tonight.
No doubt. So many compelling elements, but I'm most interested in the quarterbacks, appropriate as we head towards the Super Bowl, because these two outstanding guards in Cowan and Winston both orchestrate for their respective teams, and it'll be their play, late clock and late games, that determine the outcome of this game.
And they're part of these starting lineups brought to you by Jeep Grand Cherokee. And you mentioned Cowan. He is the veteran of this group. It's one of the youngest teams in the country. They've got 5 freshmen in their 8-man rotation. And for the Spartans, led by the junior duo. You mentioned Cassius Winston coming off the 29-point performance in their last game against Nebraska. And Nick Ward, another junior, the second leading scorer. The officials for tonight's game, Terry Oglesby, DJ Karstensen, and Larry Scorado. 14th meeting between these programs. Michigan State 8-5 against Maryland all time, and they've won 5 of the last 6 between the schools. First place on the line, it is Nick Ward to jump it against Bruno Fernando. And off we go from East Lansing, with Maryland picked to finish 7th in the Big Ten, one of the nation's biggest surprises, trying to extend a 7-game winning streak. Here's one of those freshmen, Eric Ayala, injured his hip in their last game, but was full-going practice, getting ready for this one. Back in the lineup tonight. Shot clock inside 10 on their first possession. Aaron Morsell gets it knocked out of there. Jalen Smith around and out. Fernando couldn't pull it in. And the Spartans riding an 11-game winning streak with it for the first time. Goings thought about 3. Instead, Cassius Winston. This time, Goings passes it up again. And inside, they go to Nick Ward. A freshman, Aaron Henry. Outside to Ward. Shot clock winding down on both teams' first possession. So Ward will step back and off the front of the rim.
Interesting, Joe. Both teams early getting deep into the shot clock possession, but then ended up with contested, difficult shots from distance.
Here's Fernando against Ward. Another one of those one-on-one matchups I know you can't wait to watch tonight.
And that's an example there of just going to work. Catch and have the confidence to make a move in single coverage, as Fernando's improved his footwork and his ability to play with his back to the basket, as well as passing out of double teams.
Big man averaging a double-double. Mark Turgeon, his head coach, says he thinks he's the most improved player in the country. Here's the captain, McQuaid, kicking to the corner for a Goings 3. That's rebounded by Jalen Smith, at least momentarily. Knocked out of bounds, and it'll be Michigan State ball. Mentioned Mark Turgeon in his 8th season. And, boy, he's having a blast coaching this group, isn't he?
Yeah, and doing one of his better coaching jobs, and he's had a number of stops in this business, but I'm impressed with his steady stewardship of this young Maryland team. Let's face it, no one expected them to be in this position at this stage of the season.
We mentioned it. Picked to finish in the middle of the pack in the conference. One of the youngest teams in the country, but they have grown up quickly. Again, solid defense from the Terps on this possession. It's McQuaid bouncing for Goings. Shot clock down to 2. Goings gets it off. 2 of the top rebounding teams in the country going at it tonight. Cassius Winston can't hit. And another offensive rebound for the Spartans should Goings have pulled it in. And that's knocked out of bounds. They say that it was last touched by Maryland. Tom Izzo in his 24th season. Only Bob Knight has won more games in the Big Ten. Tom Izzo.
Still has the vitality, the energy, as tenacious a competitor as there is in all of college basketball. We saw it today at practice.
That is Henry calling for the travel.
Tom Izzo's shoot-arounds the day of the game are as organized and well choreographed as any I've seen in my coaching career. And I worked for Gene Cady, who's one of the best at game day shoot preparation for an opponent. But Tom Izzo puts on a coaching clinic the day of a game for his players.
Back inside, Fernando, who gave it up for a Morsell 3. Around and out, rebounded by Goings. Goings puts it on the deck, gets inside. Ward with the offensive rebound. Spinning, hooking. They just can't find the bottom of the bucket yet. McQuaid tries. That's time he got it.
Well, that ignites the Izzone, Joe.
Anthony Collins, so quick, averaging 18 per game to lead the Terps.
And a great answer. That's the counterpunch you're going to need to win on the road. And Cassius Winston, you can do it, I can too. And that, again, is the matchup. Two diminutive-sized point guards. A lot of courage, skill. Enjoy the thrill of the pass. Can shot make and play make with the best of them.
Coming off a 29-point game, Lab, and that impressive win in Lincoln, snapping Nebraska's 20-game home winning streak. Anthony Collins fires away from three, is offline with it, and a foul on the rebound. Goes on. Let's see. Looks like they're going to get Michigan State.
Offensive rebounding, a great opportunity because it puts opponents in rotation. And a precise pass. McQuaid able to catch, shoot, line one up, dials it up from distance.
They got Nick Ward for the foul there, so he sits down. Xavier Tillman comes on. That's a rejection by Goins into the hands of Fernando. Like Michigan State, Maryland coming off a good win on the road against Ohio State on Friday. Fernando into the tight spot, had it knocked away, and here comes Michigan State. They can run with the best of them. McQuaid had a clean look, passed it up. Got the defender to fly by, and hit his second three. Tom Izzo told us today, Lab, they need more offense from McQuaid. So far, he's buried a couple triples.
And we see why Michigan State is proficient at three-point shooting. One of their three-pointers came from the offensive rebound kick-out. There, the Spartans get down the floor, get organized quickly, and that crisp ball movement, hot potato around the horn, led to the McQuaid shot fake and open jumper.
Fernando blocked again by Tillman. Now Jalen Smith will lay it in softly. And the most highly regarded of this great freshman class gets his first bucket. On the other end, he comes up with a block. And the loose ball pulled in by Ayala for the Terps.
And you see the length of this Terp team. Long, athletic. Daylight closes down so quickly.
Closed down pretty quickly on Morcell, though, there. In a hurry, Henry brings this place alive. Fernando lost it. Winston pushing with his eyes up. Top 5 in the country in assists. Top 5 in the Big Ten in scoring. He got blocked. Crowd won't get the goaltending that they're looking for.
Once again, the resistance at the rim. Both these teams not willing to concede easy baskets.
And it looked like Jalen Smith was going to have an easy one, but then two white shirts walled up, made it tough.
Yeah, and it's a combination of, well-scouted teams. Good look by Winston.
Their ball from Henry, right into the hands of Tillman.
A fortuitous bounce. Spartans capitalize.
Still looking for the under-16 media timeout. And both these teams probably a little bit gassed at this point. All the energy expended in the first few minutes.
And I think ideally they don't want to have to burn a timeout here. May need them late in a game like this that comes down to the wire potentially.
Ayala missed the three. Cassius Winston sets it up for the Spartans. And bounces that one out of bounds, sending us to our first media timeout. Aaron Henry bringing the noise with a dunk on this MLK Day in East Lansing. The 12-6 lead. And his big-time matchup. Michigan State at 16-2 and 7-0 in the conference, and getting a loud dunk from Henry. And you mentioned football a little earlier. I didn't know there were fullbacks in basketball.
Watch the play here. Tillman, a veteran player who just shows, even though he's fatigued, the importance of position. Doesn't allow Fernando to make a play at the rim on that dunk. That's savvy, crafty, a veteran move by Tillman.
Part of the #1 offense in the Big Ten, one of the best offenses in the country that Michigan State has. They just do so many things well. They beat you in so many ways. A couple of subs into the game for Maryland, including this one, a freshman and Ricky Lindo Jr. And Wiggins off of the bench as well, couldn't tip it in. For Michigan State, Foster Lawyer in to run the point, giving Cassius Winston his first break. There's Mr. Basketball in the state of Michigan last year. Minutes hard to come by because it's hard to take Cassius Winston off of the floor.
See again how quickly the Spartans get down the floor, create that spacing for round one, then go to work.
With Gabe Brown off of the bench, canning a three.
No hesitation to catch and shoot. But again, when you're moving the ball crisply with velocity, looking for the open man, that's when you get better looks at the basket.
Cowan against Lawyer. Shot clock inside of 10. Anthony Cowan puts it on the floor. Gets by him. Leaves the floater short. Reverse won't go. But a re-tee for Wiggins. Offline with a three. And Maryland is struggling on the offensive end so far.
Good push up the floor and transporting the ball through the air.
Michigan State tends to have that effect on teams. One of the lowest field goal percentages against in the country. So far, Maryland below 30%. Goings fires away and knocks it down.
Great execution by Sparty there. The dribble handoff action, the roll, the throwback to the backside triangle. Open three.
And a 15-2 run for Michigan State. Terrell Smith Jr. cut off in the baseline. He can shoot it, so Lawyer sticks tightly in his hip pocket. In the hands of Cowan. Smith gets some room. And again, way too strong. Wiggins, the offensive rebound. He gets blocked. Maryland won for its last 14. And a foul brings us to our next timeout. Welcome back to Big Ten basketball, sponsored by Jeep Grand Cherokee. Back in the Breslin Center, 18-6, and we go inside Tom Izzo's huddle.
Don't fool yourself. You're missing some good shots. Okay? Our defense has been good, not great. Okay? Now, remember, when the shot clock runs down and one has the ball, I should see 6 eyes. Everybody's got to be helping because he's looking to get a shot.
Boy, said the defense has been good, not great. The numbers, Lav, are great. Maryland 3 for 18 from the field, including 0 for 7 from 3.
Well, he's a perfectionist because he's not playing the game. He's playing against his team's full potential. And there, what he's talking about was 6 eyes looking at Anthony Cowan is the equivalent of 8 in the box in football against a great running back to make sure he always sees 3 Spartans jerseys.
Tillman can't hit from 3. Brown contested the rebound, then it was knocked out of bounds, and it will be Maryland ball. I mean, this is a Maryland team, Lav, that against Ohio State, against a good Ohio State team, went 11 for 17 from 3 and hit close to 60% overall.
Well, and what's interesting is since Langford has been out, you look at Fernando inside there, able just to catch, has the flyby by Tillman, and able to get a 2-hand jam flush. Little chin up on the rim here in the Breslin Center.
Ward sails it out of bounds. Boy, Ward sat for a while. Michigan State went on a 13-2 run while he was on the bench for whatever that's worth.
Yeah, a little cross screen. Actually, Ward is the one that went up after getting caught on that screen. He gets put in the popcorn popper, and Fernando just gathers and launches to the rim for the flush.
This guy's a monster, isn't he?
Unique in his ability to influence the game both offensively and defensively, and improving his footwork and confidence. Even facing the basket now, there's a greater comfort level by Fernando.
Eric Isle, a tough shot, won't go. Good box out from Ward, he clears it.
Going back to that point, since Langford's been out, Joe, Michigan State's numbers have actually improved when you look at their defensive efficiencies. the stat package, since he's been out, they're holding opponents to 6 less points per game. Also defending the three-point line more effectively, almost 10 percentage points lower than when they had Langford. So good coaching, good adjustments, and they may have found combinations of players and rotations that are more effective than when they had Langford. Now, don't get me wrong, they want Langford back. They'd like to have a full complement of players, but interesting how mixed blessings sometimes an injury allows you to discover something.
Fernando faces up, like you mentioned, real comfortable doing that, although Tillman was right in his grill. Ayala rips a straightaway 3. Well, they brought this freshman in thinking he had a chance to really help control the game, take some of the ball handling away from Cowan to free him up. I don't think they thought they were getting a shooter who is top 3 in the Big Ten, close to 50%.
No, and a freshman guard that plays with unusual poise and confidence as well. Really has an old man's game in many respects. Yeah, smart, understands the angles, poise.
Tillman rolled it over the rim. Fernando cleared the miss. Michigan State's gone a few minutes without a bucket. Maryland tries to creep back into it early. Here is Ayala. He thought about it. He put it on the deck. Ran into a crowd. Fernando finding Lindo. Sorrell Smith. A wraparound pass for Lindo, who got bumped and fouled from behind. So far, the difference in this game, Lab, has been the Spartans' three-point shooting.
Yeah, and it's the variety pack. McQuaid from distance. Again, Brown from deep. Everybody involved, and they've done it off of offensive rebound kickouts. They've done it in transition. They've done it out of their sets in early offense as well.
Nick Ward, by the way, just picked up his 2nd foul. So he'll leave the game here at the 8-minute mark in the first half. Smith rises. And off the back iron. Long rebound right to Smith. So Wiggins will try it and knock it down. One freshman to another. And the 6th man, the top scorer off of the bench for the Terps, hits his first shot. And then I believe Mark Turgeon might have just gotten teed up.
I think the official was trying to tell the Terp players and coaching staff to sit down. And of course, Mark Turgeon applauded his team and staff for being enthusiastic and energetic. Of course, at one point in college basketball at North Carolina, that was the Dean Smith standard, that when your team scored, you would stand up and applaud. But for various reasons, the rules have changed.
I guess it was just a warning to get back to the bench. Timeout, and he slants it.
Stay hard on 5. Don't let 5 beat us. Okay? Stay long on him. Got it? And keep rebounding the ball. 5 guys help us rebound. Okay, now they're not running as fast. I think we can get into it, especially if they fumble the ball.
And his Terps have climbed back into this game with an 8-0 run.
Well, really the same point of emphasis that Coach Izzo in his huddle that we saw focused on is what Mark Turgeon is focusing on, just reversing the script in terms of stay attached, stay locked into Cassius Winston. Don't let him get into the flow, start to see the ball go through the net where he gains confidence and begins to shoot at a bigger rim because he's capable of getting hot and dominating the game. And the way you do that, limit that, is through your defense, staying attacked on the on-ball screen action. If you're going to fault towards coverage on Winston, not being somewhere in between.
The rim's been looking like a hula hoop for him lately. 29-point performance in Lincoln. That was a response to a not very good game in State College against Penn State the week before. He's got it here. He launches off the iron. The hands of Wiggins. The Spartans have gone more than 4 minutes without a point.
And still hold the 4-point lead. So while Maryland very competitive here, making a nice run, Michigan State still holds their own because of their tenacious defense.
Here's Fernando. He got bumped on the way up by McQuaid. We'll get our first free throws of the night.
Good investigation here by the Terps, trying to get the ball inside to Fernando, and they give up position. And as a result, draws the foul, steps to the free throw line for 2.
Well, the foul line was an issue for Maryland early on this season. But they've been really good during the winning streak at the line, and Bruno Fernando's been a part of that. See any Kevin Garnett in his game, his sports hero?
And 25.
Laugh, you with me?
I'm with you.
Any Kevin Garnett in his game?
You know, there is, if he can continue to improve offensively at facing the basket. And the fact that number 3 on things we need to know about Bruno Fernando is that he hates to miss practice makes me think he'll get there someday because he wants to do the work. He's eager, a learner, and that's so important as an attribute or a trait when you try and project where a player is going to go. Look at his character, look at his work ethic. Does he have that insatiable appetite to get better? And Bruno Fernando does.
I know I just had to jar you a little bit because the old coach and he was so fired up about the third thing to know there. Right?
Exactly. I was locked in on work ethic, preparation.
Well. And that is, they say, a big part of the reason he has become the player that he does. Put in so much work after considering the NBA. McQuaid from way outside reads up a brick that's tracked down by Collin.
Both these teams are not afraid to put their body on opponents. Physical.
In for Wiggins, long rebound picked up by McQuaid. Winston finding Henry, who cut it off to Tillman, and that is as pretty as it gets for the team that leads the country in assists.
And once again, the Spartans' ability to get down the floor, get organized before opponents get back defensively, and they take advantage of the numbers, the opportunities in transition.
Wiggins, his second three.
3-point basket.
Boy, what an answer. Young players with big tickers. On the road in the Breslin Center.
Goings a clean look. Have not been falling the way they were early. It's allowed Maryland to climb back in a game where they trailed by as many as 12 in the opening minutes. Collin against Winston. He'll shoot it in his face. And I don't know if they even caught rim. Winston pushing. There's 2 points for him so far.
It's that 4-out, 1-in spacing that the Spartans employ in their early offense. Then late clock, they'll get organized. Likely an on-ball screen.
Coming from Tillman, who showed it when Winston went around it. McQuaid, a little bit too much. And early on, Lav, Michigan State was dominating on the glass, but Maryland has evened things up there. Two of the top 3 rebounding teams in the country. Inside they go to Fernando with a drop step. Tillman was waiting. Bruno Fernando averaging a double-double on the season. Great defense. Smith with a jumper that falls.
Wow.
Basket by Smith.
Another freshman feeling it along the baseline. And how about Bruno Fernando alertly sharing the basketball? And there's the little one. Winston looks as though maybe might have got a Charlie horse.
Those are the worst.
Gingerly running back down the court.
It's Michigan State back in front.
Winston got in for that shot, Joe. Again, as a result of his teammates just blocking Maryland defenders.
3 to shoot. Fernando will. But he does have range out there. And it goes over the backboard and over to Michigan State. Good one going with first place on the line in the Big Ten.
Welcome back to the Breslin Center, East Lansing, Michigan. We've got a good one. It's a 2-point game. Michigan State in front, and I'm Kevin Burkhardt. Coming up, Chief Halftime Report. Jim Jackson will join me. We'll talk about Michigan State. Hot start, big drought, still in the lead, though. We'll discuss that, and also our Big East game coming up. Creighton and Georgetown a little later tonight. Right now, back across to Joe Davis.
All right, Kev, yeah, the Spartans led this one by as many as 12, and in a matchup, kind of a classic one, where there are studs at point guard, and there are studs inside. Really, none of these guys have had their typical night so far. In the case of Nick Ward, that's been because of foul trouble. He's only played 6 minutes, and he's got those 2 fouls.
Well, Joe, number one, when you step into conference play, there's a compressed margin for error because teams know one another's tendencies, both strengths and vulnerabilities. And then in this particular matchup, because of what's at stake, the significance, it's a combination of great defense, but also coming from a good place. Sometimes offensively it's more difficult to find your rhythm or flow when you care so much. But both these teams, in terms of effort, concentration, staying with their game plans, have been on point.
Winston, a tough shot. Thomas Kithia off of the bench. And the freshman out of Clarkston, Michigan, doesn't waste any time getting in the scoring column.
That's interesting how Tom Izzo, again, with Langford injured, playing his bench, very liberal in his substitutions. Tonight, another example, and that allows him to continue to play at the pace that he prefers in terms of offensive transition, but also their pressure defensively takes a great deal of energy, physical, emotional fuel, and that's why he rotates his players.
Winston bumped as he threw it up there. Head of the line for 2 shots. Yeah, the Spartans are on this 11-game winning streak, even with the injuries. There's Joshua Langford, who's missed now 6 games. We saw Kyle Arns back in tonight after missing 2 games himself. But Tom Izzo and the Spartans have found a way to keep on rolling even without Langford, who is their 3rd leading scorer on the year. And it's not just the scoring. This guy does a lot for them.
Well, his strength, his presence, and his attitude.
Speaking of attitude, he's out, but he's turned himself into the water boy. This is a practice yesterday.
Yeah.
I mean, that's awesome. That's your team captain. That's one of your top players. Still finding a way to be involved and help his teammates out any way you can.
Well, finding a way to add value and also being engaged in a manner so when you do come back, you're there mentally, even if physically your timing's a bit off. But if you're engaged and almost taking on the role of a coach while injured, that's helpful when you finally do return.
Orcel with a no look to Lindo. Outside Wiggins with a clean look. Yeah, last touch by Maryland. I mean, let's face it, people love water, especially midway through practice. That's key to the heart.
Yeah, rehydration, whether it's water or Gatorade, Powerade.
I'll cover it during practice.
And at halftime, like soccer, youth soccer, or Little League, you need those oranges as well.
Menu will expand future practices from him. Here's Arns. A little bit too much. Lindo, great length up to get that rebound.
And length is one of the strengths. As we see sticks there, a tough shot contested.
McQuaid a transition 3. And there's Sticks with a rebound. Maryland trying to counter with the Spartans slow getting back. Morcell penetrates, leaves it off, and travels. Missed opportunity there for the Terps.
Yeah, might have been overpassing and in tight quarters trying to pass in a closet. That's often when the receiver isn't ready and there's a turnover or there's steps or 3 in the key, and even if you get it, really no room to do anything with it when you're underneath the backboard looking up at the shot clock and the electrical wiring. Not a good look.
It's odd. Both these teams, the top 2 teams in the standings right now, both struggle with turnovers. Especially in the second half of that win against Ohio State over the weekend. Maryland really struggled in that regard. Michigan State turned it over 19 times at Nebraska. McQuaid rolls it in.
Well, McQuaid creating off the bounce and able to gather the feet, get organized, and the kind rim and roll with a finish.
Trying to pay homage to our boy Timmy B, the Iron Kind.
Just can't do it as well as Timmy B.
Nobody can.
Brando. Probably.
There's no way at Timmy's home right now. He's doing a game somewhere.
He is.
Diving to the floor, Goings, shoving it off for Winston. Here come the Spartans. Cassius Winston finds it open. He's got his second bucket. And an 9-0 Michigan State run. Prompts a timeout from Mark Turgeon.
Well, Mark Turgeon wanted a kick, but how about McQuaid here? Heavy contact by Cowan, but he's able to eventually gather those feet, square the shoulder, and put one down. And here's Cassius, heads up, good vision, alert as he delivers the dime in transition. Sparty on a run, pushes it out to 9.
January 11th, Michigan State Spartans lost a beloved member of its family, Gus Ganakis, who coached the Spartans in the late 60s into the 70s and went on to become a very loved radio analyst of the Spartans. He was a sounding board for Tom Izzo. Tom called him the man who helped build the family atmosphere of Michigan State basketball. He passed away at 92 years old. They had a moment of silence for Gus before the game, somebody who's meant so much to Tom Izzo and this whole program.
I had the opportunity to get to know Gus during my 7 years covering the Big Ten Conference from 2003 to 2010, and a beloved member of this community, this university, and served in so many capacities, not just coaching, but also the radio analyst, as you noted, was in the athletic administration for a time as well.
Maryland getting sloppy with it here. Goins drives into Smith and lays it in. Michigan State on an 11-0 run to open this lead back to double figures. We've had one sideline warning. I think we just got another to the Michigan State bench as they sit down, back up.
Goins there with that 2-foot jump stop and an old-fashioned jump hook, Dave Cowan style, to go back. Our audience will have to Google that. An old Boston Celtic. But that jump hook could be a great weapon to have in your offensive arsenal.
At a 6-second differential in game and shot, you get the sense Maryland really needs a little something here to finish the half with some momentum. Spartans have stolen it away. Fernando turns it over. It has been all turnovers in the closing seconds.
Go for one shot here, and they call the timeout.
First 16 minutes of this half, Maryland turned it over twice. They've turned it over 5 times in the last 4 minutes. On Saturday, a huge welterweight title fight. Undefeated Keith Thurman against Jose Cito Lopez from the Barclays Center. 8 Eastern Saturday, 5 Pacific on Fox and the Fox Sports app. 31-20, Michigan State.
Looking at that promo, we talk about boxing or fighting, and no more appropriate parallel or analogy when you look at the history. Tom Izzo's career here, and that's what his teams do on a consistent basis, is they fight you. There's nights they don't look smooth offensively, or nights they struggle with the three-point line, or they may even turn the ball over more than he'd prefer, but they're always going to bring the defensive tenacity, the toughness, and a cohesive approach, and that's what's allowed him to have the Hall of Fame success during his run at Michigan State.
They're so hard to beat in this building, winning 30 of their last 31 games here at the Breslin Center. He draws up this backdoor cut for Winston, which results in McQuaid firing a 3. Goins will have another chance. And that is how this first half comes to an end.
Great idea, good looks. Didn't finish, but Tom Izzo will live with that. And in particular, he'll be pleased with the way they finished the half on a run because of their defense.
11-0, that run you mentioned, and a 31-20 advantage for the Spartans as they try to get their 12th in a row and their 20th in a row in Big Ten play. Kevin Burkhardt, Jim Jackson are courtside with the Jeep Grand Cherokee halftime report. Right after this, you're watching Big Ten basketball on FS1. Welcome back to Big Ten basketball, sponsored by Jeep Grand Cherokee. It was the first half of runs. Michigan State opened up a 12-point lead. Then Maryland rallied back to tie it at 20 before the Spartans finished that first half on an 11-0 run. Welcome back courtside, ready for this second half. Joe Davis and Steve Lavin. A lot of things went right for Michigan State in that first half. I know primarily for you, you were impressed by the defense.
Yeah, after dissecting this stat sheet, Joe.
You did.
Defensively holding Anthony Cowan to 1 of 5 shooting. That's the head of the snake for the Terps, or the head of the turtle for that matter. And then when you look at only 3 turnovers, that means shows that Michigan State is concentrating, locked in, and they played through the paint. So much like a football team that takes care of the ball, keeps it on the ground in terms of the run game, that's what Michigan State has done. Put it down low. These are all high percentage, point-blank range shots, and then you sprinkle in the timely threes and only 3 turnovers, and that's a winning formula for the first 20 minutes for Spartans.
Here are our first half stats, sponsored by Jeep Grand Cherokee. You mentioned the turnovers, but 7 of them for Maryland, leading to 10 points for the Spartans. Not the kind of team you want to turn it over against. Michigan State gets out and runs with the best of them. I know what you were doing yesterday. You've made about 47 football references so far tonight.
I was ready.
Yeah.
Super Bowl. You know, the points in the paint were 18-6. That was the stat sheet dissection. Plus 12 when it comes to point-blank range shots. Let's see what adjustments Maryland makes. And there's the balanced attack. We talked about the run game, but they can also play through the air as Cassius Winston, well-devised, coming out of the locker room, catch-and-shoot opportunity off the down screen.
That's how Michigan State opened the game, hot from outside, but they actually finished the first half by missing 8 threes in a row. So it's like sore eyes in that regard, with Winston hitting his first one tonight. Here's Bruno Fernando getting fouled by Nick Ward. And 40 seconds into the second half, Nick Ward has his 3rd foul.
Well, the 2 bruisers, Nick Ward there, when he extended the forearm and elbow into the ribs of Bruno Fernando, then the official at that point has no choice. But as a coach, you love that aggressiveness, that tenacity. Wow, great look on the baseline out of bounds play. Morcell inbounds it. Yeah, just inbounds it, then steps in. Breakdown by Michigan State defensively, but a good give up by Cowan, who picks up the assist.
This is his first one tonight, by the way. That's Aaron Henry getting it to fall. 7 for the freshman, who's coming off a game where he matched his career high with 9 against Nebraska. So he's right at the doorstep of doing that again.
The increased minutes for some of the complementary players, they're gaining confidence. And there's Maryland going right back down inside. Mark Turgeon clearly making a focus here. Let's get layups. And this is one way to get them. Morcell with the inbounder. No one's got the inbounder. That breakdown defensively leads to the easy flush.
Weren't too many easy ones for Maryland during that first half, where they shot 26%. That's the single worst shooting half of the season for the Terps. Here's Fernando at the line for 2.
A little flat trajectory there. The tortilla got to lift it up, and that starts from the floor up. Get deflection in the knees, pronation in the wrist up top. But again, the lift, the energy has got to come from the legs.
The tortilla, huh?
That's very flat.
Flat, yeah, it was very.
Better than a flying saucer.
Oh, yeah.
Still got to get a lift.
A little more depth on it. 1 of 2 for Fernando, and it's a good skill for a big man to have, but he's been one of the best foul shooters in the conference, in-conference games, around 90%. Lives at the line. Winston for Goings. There's the mid-range jumper.
There's the orchestrator. Winston playing out of pace, you know, and I think he's playing a bit injured tonight, playing through some pain. And that's what a leader does. Doesn't want to miss this competition. Speaking of leaders, Bruno Fernando will not be denied. And there is the bounce, Joe. We talked about his confidence improving in terms of facing the basket. Almost loses the ball, then gathers it with 2 hands, puts it down. Just determined to stay with it. Chance for the old-fashioned 3-point play. Gotta love the emotion as well.
Sophomore out of Angola for the game-high 9. He scored the first 4 in a row here for Maryland. And a 12-point game as they try to get their 8th consecutive win. Michigan State on the other side trying to make it 12 wins in a row. Cassius Winston can't hit the 3, and Fernando's already getting close to another double-double, which he averages on the season. Can they get Cowan going? They'll take that. A nice dish, but a good job at the rim by the Spartans to defend Smith. In transition, McQuaid with an extra pass going. He's off the glass.
Boy, getting organized, transport the ball through the air. Post up at point-blank range. Nice pass by McQuaid. Again, high percentage finishes for Sparty.
Ayala. The line drive three. It's off the heel. Winston Probine getting to the one-man one. Cassius Winston with a chance for three.
How about the Spartans push? Pedal to the metal. Winston, crafty, maneuvering, again, uses the body there, that right shoulder into the sternum to keep Bruno Fernando ground bound and also absorb the hit, able to finish and step to the line for the three-point play attempt. Doesn't have dynamic or electrifying athleticism, yet he maneuvers with such purpose and understands angles, which are so critical in basketball, both ends of the court, offensively and defensively. But there used his body and gained the angle on Bruno Fernando and also picked up a foul on a very valuable Maryland Terp.
Now Fernando on the other end couldn't get it to go. Fouled on the rebound, goes on Ricky Lindo. Well, Cassius Winston is into double figures. Nick Ward still has yet to score in this game. Their second leading scorer on the year, better than 16 per game. And I think if you had told Tom Izzo Nick Ward wouldn't have a point at this juncture, he would have said there's no way they're up by 17.
Well, and that's what's so interesting. Whether it's foul trouble or an injury, you sometimes as a coach, because of the mixed blessing, if you have enough depth, you can, out of necessity, almost stumble into combinations. Now, this is by design, but I'm not sure Tom Izzo even realized they would be playing better without Langford. And in this case, with Ward scoreless tonight, very unique.
Stay on this end. If Maryland's going to have a chance, they've got to get Anthony Cowan going.
And you've seen Mark Turgeon here try to take Cowan off the ball where he can work off of his teammates, using them as screeners to try and free himself up. Now you're seeing him go back to him with the high ball screen, put the ball in his hands.
It's it off for Lindo Jr. Not quite. Cowan tonight, just 2 points. He scored 20-plus in 4 straight coming in. A steal and a finish from Xavier Tillman. The Spartans are pulling away on a 25-6 run.
And Tillman there just carves out space. Mark Turgeon going to get a timeout and talk it over.
Books sponsored by Lexus. What do you got, Coach Lav?
Well, again, Michigan State getting organized in transition, the 4-round-1 offense. And look at the space carved out by Tillman at the point-blank range of the rim. And just a terrific seal using the body, a good delivery as well to the outside target hand. And as a result, Bruno Fernando not able to get there, Joe.
Miles Bridges got to like what he's watching tonight back at Michigan State on an off day. And as you saw during the pregame show, got to kiss the Spartan logo at midcourt prior to the game, something that he didn't get to do. That's reserved for seniors on senior day, and obviously his career ended before that. They got to do it tonight. Wiggins' 3 won't go, and it's tipped out to Winston.
Well, players that come through the Michigan State program have such strong feelings. The family atmosphere that we've talked about leads to Magic Johnson coming back. All the great ones in Michigan State history, as well as team managers and walk-ons and former assistant coaches. And Goins feeling it. Back-to-back possessions, Joe. He's the one that shared the sugar, delivered the dime down low to Tillman. Then here, showing the versatility of pull up and knock down one from distance.
28-6 run. Michigan State has started the second half 7 of 8. Cowan had that one blocked by Brown. Loose ball in the paint to Fernando, who got barely bumped by Goins. And we'll have 2 shots on the other side of the break. How about these Michigan State Spartans? Looks like they're on their way to a 20th consecutive Big Ten win. 48-26 on MLK Day.
What an incredible man, a nonviolent man, a guy that did it the right way and tried to change the face of the earth and change society for the better, but did it the right way. And there's not a lot of people that do it the right way. So I wish I could have, when they give you that, who would you like to have dinner with? Dr. Martin Luther King.
Great stuff from Tom Izzo is out of the timeout. Aaron Wiggins hits the 3. We welcome it back to Big Ten basketball, sponsored by Jeep Grand Cherokee. This top 15 matchup has been dominated by the Spartans, who look for their 12th win in a row. Wiggins tries another triple and hits it again, his 4th tonight. Saying not so fast. Back to a 16-point game.
And a good answer coming out of the timeout. Back-to-back threes, and Wiggins, one of the young Terps, bright future. And Mark Turge and the staff so bold on the upside of this team, not just this year, but moving down the line as a basketball program.
How about the night Kenny Goins is having? 14 points and 8 rebounds for the 5th-year senior, the former walk-on.
And you see very comfortable making good choices or reads on the court, playing at a pace that allows him to really see the game. They say slowing down because of his experience, making better choices.
Been a tough night for Collin. Fouled on the rebound on Lindo. Senior out of Troy, Michigan, having a heck of a night.
Well, just comfortable on his catches. There we saw his ability to shoot from distance, one where he puts it on the deck and finishes, and one more time. And he's become a critical piece in Tom Izzo's approach to offensive basketball, as well as what he gives the Spartans defensively. The broad shoulders, the ruggedness, the length.
So tough, Kenny Goins. Played as an undersized 5-man early in his career through a bad knee. Once had 13 rebounds in a game against Louisville with a broken nose, cotton ball stuffed in both nostrils. Fouled on Maryland.
When you ask Coach Izzo about this particular team, he frequently uses the word gritty. You know, he'll talk about experience, the ability to shoot the ball, the right attitude that this group collectively has, but gritty. There's no doubt Kenny Goins is a gritty player, hard-nosed.
That is foul on Michigan State away from the ball.
Michigan State foul on 40.
They got Nick Ward. That's his 4th. Big Ten standings. Spartans the lone unbeaten at 7-0. 2 one-loss teams in Maryland and Michigan. And it continues to feel like it's headed for quite a finish. 2 of the final 4 games of the regular season. Michigan, Michigan State.
Well, this league, both at the top, where you have likely 1 and 2 seeds, all the way towards the bottom of the league, where you have potentially 10 NCAA tournament bids coming out of this conference. So top to bottom, a stellar league.
Just not very many nights off over the course of this 20-game conference schedule. You can be a really good team in the Big Ten and go 12-8 in conference play. Goins trying again. Not this time. The foul on the Spartans on the rebound. We're talking about Howie Schwab and 9 teams in the field in the Big Ten. According to him at this point, these are his 4 1 seeds. What do you think?
At this point, never argue with Howie. He is the savant, the Alan Greenspan when it comes to projections, and his crystal ball as good as any. And all those teams defend. When you look at those 1 seeds, they're outstanding defensive teams, and Duke will continue to get better defensively because of their young personnel. And the more time under Coach Krzyzewski, the better they'll become.
Smith It's the three. Actually, Morcell, beg your pardon. Daryl Morcell with his first bucket tonight. You mentioned the defense for those 1 seeds. Typically a great category to look at when you're filling out your brackets, figuring out who's going to make a run. Defensive efficiency. Spartans rank very high in that. Top 10 in the country.
And what's interesting about Michigan State is sometimes a team is stronger on offense or defense. They're balanced. Their numbers on offense and defense are both outstanding. Winston shot the rim rejected. There's that quickness and length. Aaron Wiggins there times that jump. Says, not this time.
Tom Izzo did too. He said, we don't need that right now. Promptly took him out of the game and sent in the freshman Foster Lawyer.
Well, always teaching, and that's the great aspect. When you've got a league as deep as the Big Ten, every night you improve because of that resistance, toe-to-toe competitiveness. You're constantly getting report cards from good teams. And then you go back to work, have enough time to get better.
Terrell Smith Jr. called for the foul on what is a big night for the senior Goings. 14 to lead all scores. On from East Lansing, where the 6th-ranked Spartans have a 15-point lead, and we take a look at the game reset sponsored by SoFi. Get your money right. Michigan State has held a Maryland team that shot close to 60% in its last game, about half that, 30% at this point. For Michigan State, Cassius Winston, their leading scorer on the season after a bit of a quiet start, has got things going and has 11.
Yeah, the timely shots, playmaking, has a sense for the moment, and so often has seized that moment in crunch time, elevates his play when necessary, and winning is on the line. And I don't think he's playing at full strength tonight, which makes his performance even more impressive.
You like sharing secrets or something? You just seeing a bit of a limp?
Just watching his gait as he goes up and down the court, and there's a gingerly element to his movement.
There's always a little bit of a gingerly element to his movement. He's not the smoothest guy.
He's shifty. But the shift and the shakes, the change of direction, change of pace, he utilizes those as well as any guard in the country.
So smart. Tom Izzo says in all his years of coaching, he's one of the 2 or 3 smartest players he's ever coached. Shot clock winding down. With no Winston on the floor, it's Goings to go inside of Tillman, but out of his reach.
And that's high praise.
She had some smart ones.
Because Draymond Green, Mateen Cleaves, the list goes on of players that were intelligent. The basketball intellect that has been on display. So Cassius Winston getting some props from Coach Izzo.
Maryland trying to climb back in this one. They trailed by as many as 22. Fernando lost it. And Goings found it. Here's Lawyer. Bounce that one off the foot of Wiggins.
Well, Fernando is trying to bowl his way to the basket and then loses his balance and frustration in that forced attempt.
He's got 9 points. He's got 8 rebounds, but he's also now turned it over 4 times. Winston back in.
So many underclassmen, not only Bruno Fernando, but Ayala, Morcell, Jalen Smith, Aaron Wiggins, Ricky Lindo.
McQuaid knocking down the jumper along 2.
And then when you look at Michigan State's roster, Joe, so many veterans. And that gets back to that grizzled, gritty approach that Michigan State's been able to employ. And really, they impose their will on opponents and kind of methodically dismantle teams and separate from them.
Fernando had it underneath the basket and no chance for Tillman to slow him down. Moves into double figures and a chance at 3.
Well, Bruno Fernando with the duck move and just uses his wingspan, sits down well as he's able to get the catch, just buries Tillman, and then again using that shoulder into the sternum of Tillman to keep him ground bound, absorbs the hit and finishes.
It's now 3 fouls on Tillman, and again Nick Ward already has 4. Maryland not going away yet, within 14. Here's Henry getting by the defense, and a finger goes.
Opportunistic again. Michigan State transporting the ball in transition through the air, which is faster than the bounce. Throw it ahead. Teammates open. And before Maryland's completely set on their half court, easy bucket.
Cowan, only his second one tonight. The guy averaging 18 per game, and he's had 4 consecutive games of 20-plus. Spartans have done a good job containing him.
This is when Michigan State decides when they're going to run off of turnovers and rebounds, but also when they're going to put touches on it, get deep into the shot clock.
Winston left it short. Fernando came down with it. Cowan takes it inside, lobs it for Smith.
Wow, great timing play. Anthony Cowan is putting it up, knowing his personnel.
And then there's a foul away from the ball on the Terps.
Well, Michigan State helps uphill on the penetration by Cowan, and that allows Smith up and away, using his length to throw one down. Quaid just a little late there on the help and the helper rotation for Michigan State.
Foul, by the way, was number 7 on Maryland, so 1-1 coming here for Xavier Tillman. Sophomore from Grand Rapids Christian. He's really been playing well for him lately. Under the radar. First big off of the bench. You're going to talk about high praise from Tom Izzo today. Called his game Draymond-ish.
Huge.
Yeah.
His length, his ability to play over the top in terms of passing, shooting the ball.
Reference to Spartan great. Golden State Warrior Draymond Green makes both free throws. The lead back to 14 for Michigan State. Winston right in Collins' grill as he comes around the screen. Now he puts it on the deck, and Winston sticks with him. So Smith fires away a 3. It's not even close.
Not the look that Mark Turgeon wanted. But again, a young team still finding their way.
Tillman in and out. Smith had it for a moment. Laid in by Henry.
Well, Henry at the right place, right time. It's under the rim where he can use that length to get a second shot opportunity off the missed shot.
First 3 of the night for Anthony Cowan, who now has 7.
And no lead is ever safe with the three-point shot. 1987 changed the game as much as any rule in the history of basketball.
Cowan just got called with a foul. That'll put Michigan State at the line for another 1-1. Here's the AP Top 10. Just released today. Tennessee moves into the #1 spot at 16-1. So that's the very top end of things. When you're looking at the fringe, who's in, who's out. Last 3, Louisville, Iowa State, LSU. Sooners and the Hoosiers on the outside looking in. Indiana's lost 4 in a row. It's kind of fallen apart as of late for Archie Miller and company.
Yeah, Chris Mack, Louisville in his first year, doing an outstanding job. Kindly three-point shooting, toughness, confidence, and of course the Hoosiers struggling at both ends of the floor.
Here's the 3 things you need to know about Cassius Winston. Are you a big Shrek fan?
I can't say that I am.
No? Do you dislike Shrek, or you just not?
No, but I haven't even given it much thought until this broadcast.
You should watch it. Maybe on the ride to the airport.
That's something we could
do that together.
Bond.
Shrek on the iPad. It's Winston getting whistled. And that'll put Cowan at the line for 1-1.
That's the 8th foul on the Spartans.
This is that precarious place in the game if you're Tom Izzo with the lead. Too early to put it on ice. Need to continue to execute.
beating him back down the floor. Reverses it up and in for his first points. That's missing the 2 games with a back injury. That's a lot.
We have a timeout on the floor.
Welcome back to Big Ten basketball, sponsored by Jeep Grand Cherokee here in East Lansing. But all Spartans tonight, they lead by 16. The Big Ten Showdown comes your way Friday on FS1. 5th-ranked Michigan visiting Assembly Hall. Indiana trying to get back on track with 4 consecutive losses. Same could be said for Michigan, trying to rebound from their first loss of the season against Wisconsin. You get all the action tipping off at 6 Eastern on FS1 and the Fox Sports app. Michigan State trying to move to 8-0 in conference play. Trying to bring Maryland back down to earth. The Terps sitting at 7-1. And if the score were to hold like this, it put the 2 Michigan schools back at the top of the standings together. Joe Davis, Steve Lavin, Kevin Burkhart, Jim Jackson. We're in East Lansing. You bring your coat from sunny California?
A number of coats, some sweatshirts as well. Thermal undies.
Coldest 2 days of the winter. Thermal undies, huh?
Sub-zero.
Yep.
Just hibernated from the Marriott Hotel.
Smart move.
Until game time.
Literally walked in 2 minutes before game time in his thermal undies. Not really. You got here before that.
Maryland trying to extend there, coming out of the timeout and do a full court pressure.
Tillman got it in deep. Arms a wide open look. You know, Michigan State started this game hot from 3, but they're 2 for their last 16. Morsell hopping inside and laying it in.
Quick strike allows the Terps to get into their full court pressure.
Winston trying to beat it down the floor.
Good judgment here. This is where he can put some touches on it, get deeper into the clock, potentially get fouled along the way. You want to go early enough to get a high percentage look, but also not too quick. There's the foul. It comes with choosing to get into an offense. Get you to the free throw line as well. And that's one effective way to salt a victory away.
That's what they did against Nebraska. Final minute of that game in Lincoln, they hit 9 of 10 free throws. McQuaid, who didn't hit a shot from the field that night, had a couple big ones himself. This is the front end of this 1-1. 14-point game inside 7 minutes in East Lansing.
And Maryland here needs to be mindful of time and score, but they don't need to rush. And there's a balance somewhere in between. You want to probe, investigate for a good look.
Cowan offline, contested by Winston.
Going back to that three-point line defense by Michigan State. Since Langford's been out, they're holding teams to 22% from the three-point line. And that's shaving 11 percentage points off from when Langford was injured. And to me, that would be a head-scratcher or counterintuitive in both scenarios. But with Tom Izzo, wow.
Shot clock was winding down. McQuaid threw it up there.
Give him credit for being aware. At least he did get an attempt off. But again, that's not the late clock execution Tom Izzo wants.
Fernando working against Tillman. But a knife of pass through. Now Morsell. Around and in, and Maryland is within 11. Trailed by as many as 22 in this young squad. One of the youngest in the country has battled back to make things interesting. Dashes Winston. Turns the corner. Accelerates. Finds Tillman. Into Arn's hands. Lays it off for another try from Tillman, who gets fouled.
Maryland fouling on 14, Lithgow Jr. That's his third personal.
Winston
Team foul on the Terrapins.
into the lane, drawing defenders, then finding Goins on the perimeter.
He's shooting 2.
Tillman now with the opportunity.
Decent foul shooter on the season. Great foul shooter tonight. 3 for 3. Here comes Nick Ward. He has 4 fouls and no points. Lindo sits down, having just picked up his 3rd foul.
And I like the call by Tom Izzo getting Henry back in the game. He's been very productive with his minutes at both ends of the floor, contributing.
Really brings a nice energy, doesn't he?
He does. And there's an intelligence to his approach. Taking shots he can make. He doesn't have good looks. He gives it up. There's something to be said for that.
Collin thought about it. Instead puts it in the net. Gets inside. No. Fernando tips it to keep it alive. Ayala now penetrates and gets blocked from behind. That starts a fast break where the Spartans have dominated tonight. Henry for 2 more.
Again, good punch adjustment. Getting Henry back on the floor. And McQuaid passing to Winston. Winston finding Henry. That was almost like soccer, where you get the ball in the middle of the floor, go sideline, then score on goal. And on a basketball floor versus grass. But the concepts in terms of passing and scoring on goal, very similar to soccer. Spacing as well.
Wow, Orcel got mugged. Tillman was over to reject it. Winston behind the back, into the lane, off the glass. Showing off a little bit of everything.
Well, here comes the Spartans, Joe. The outlet. Get it to your orchestrator. The little man behind the back. A little razzle-dazzle. Dipsy-do. Reverse layup. How about it? Timeout.
He's in front. Cassius Winston has helped Michigan State pull away a little bit. And Michigan State has gone on a 6-0 run over the last 43 seconds after Malin had climbed back to within 11.
When you look at the analytics, Joe, 2 areas where Michigan State's dominating. We've already chronicled the paint, 36 to 18. The fast break points, Michigan State 29 to 7. You put those 2 categories together, they are plus 40.
Winston got his hand on that entry pass. Winston taking it himself. Throws it outside for Tillman. Inside 10 to shoot. Ward wants it. Still looking for his first points in the game. It's Henry. He drops it in. A career-high 12 for the freshman out of Indy.
Showing his skill set offensively. Excellent runner in the lane.
Wiggins buries a 3. 15 for Aaron Wiggins on 5 threes tonight.
Here you got to come to neat passes, be strong with the ball on catches.
Tillman.
Yikes.
Loud noise. Fernando wants it. Collin lobs it up there. Great defense from McQuaid. It's another turnover. Inside 3 minutes now.
It's a small detail, but those high hands in terms of tracing the basketball. McQuaid fully extended there against the smaller Cowan, able to get that steal, change of possession.
McQuaid fighting through contact. Here's Ward. Halfway down and out. Ward, in his 3 years at Michigan State, has never had a scoreless game. He's still looking for the first points tonight as that went, but after a travel.
Well, Ward with the goose egg, but it speaks to the depth and the team balance of size, strength, skill, and quickness, the ability with their defense as well as their offense, a low post game, a perimeter game. There's really no chink in the armor, no weakness with this Michigan State team.
David Tillman was good tonight. He'll take a seat. Spartans are on their way to a 12th win in a row, where they're winning by an average of close to 20 points per game. In a very difficult Big Ten, it's not been particularly close. And this would be a 20th consecutive win in conference play, a new program record. Terrell Smith Jr. Lindo couldn't corral it. Ward could. Back into Ward. Kender with an extra pass for Winston. With 1 to shoot, McQuaid won't get it off. Up next for Michigan State, back to the road. They take on Iowa. That'll be on FS1 on Thursday night. And another tough road game at Purdue. We're talking about there's just not many breaks over the Big Ten schedule.
No let up, a gauntlet, but excellent preparation for the postseason. A variety of styles that are employed by the various coaches and programs in this conference helps you prepare for the NCAA tournament.
Lindo an offensive rebound, couldn't hit it. Wiggins tried to tip it in, nothing. Out of bounds. Here's what's coming up for the Terps. The 7-game winning streak is going to come to an end tonight. What do you think Mark Turgeon and this young team learned about themselves tonight?
Well, I think the physicality of Michigan State just wore down the younger Terp team. And some of that will come with maturity, being in the weight room, 3 square meals, going from freshmen to sophomores, sophomores to juniors. And then some of it is also a mindset. That's what's so valuable about having opportunities like this, where you can watch game film, get back on the practice floor and improve in those specific areas that were exposed by a team, in this case, Michigan State.
3 square meals, maybe some protein shakes in between.
No doubt.
Bulking season. It's heard.
Some carbos.
Yep. 3 to shoot. Gabe Brown will. Ayala streaking inside to finish.
Basket by Ayala.
This is still one of the great surprise teams across college basketball this year. Picked to finish 7th in the Big Ten. This will snap their 7-game winning streak. Future bright, and really the short-term future bright for the Terps still. So far to 16-4, 7-2. Michigan State just keeps on rolling. 17-2, 8-0 in conference play, and a 20th consecutive Big Ten win for Tom Izzo and the Spartans.
A well-oiled machine, Joe. They're hitting on all cylinders, and that's with Langford out. And tonight, Nick Ward, not productive to say the least, and yet still they win in dominating fashion. That goes back to my point about how their defense and rebounding and the relentless pace they play with dismantles teams. They just deliberately dismantle and separate from opponents.
That's a great point you make. I mean, they win easily by 14, and 2 of their top 3 scorers didn't score because you got one of them in Joshua Langford who didn't play. Nick Ward, their second leading scorer, first scoreless game of his career, and still they cruised to a 69-55 win. It kind of goes back to what we were talking about off at the top. There are just so many different ways they can beat you. Such great scoring depth.
A number of pieces and combinations tons of players, and Tom Izzo's done an excellent job of pushing all the right buttons during the injury to Langford, or in a game like this where Nick Ward is not in rhythm, and he's confident to go to his bench and search for winning combinations, both offensively and defensively. But with Michigan State, they hang their hat on defense and rebounding, and that's what generates their prolific offensive attack in transition. They get organized down the floor for quick strikes as well as any.
You mentioned the rebounding. It's part of the story tonight. Two of the top 3 rebounding teams in the country. Michigan State winds up winning the battle narrowly by 2 rebounds. They win the game by 14, 69-55. Kevin Burkhardt, take it away, my friend.
All right, Joe, thanks very much. Jim Jackson, of course, Coach Tom Izzo is here. Coach, congrats on the win. You know, I'm thinking watching this tonight, so your 3rd leading scorer has been out for a while now. Nick does not have a huge impact in this game, but when you win a game like that with all of these contributions, how much does it help you down the road, do you think?
I don't know if it helps us, because I thought offensively, you know, without Nick and without those other 2 guys, we were just, I mean, Kyle played a little bit, but we didn't look very good offensively, you know. We're playing Cassius a little bit too many more minutes, but I think it talks a lot about our defense. I think defensively, boy, we did a heck of a job.
And that's what I was going to point out, Coach. The defensive side of the ball for you now, it seems like your guys are really connected. Somebody dribble drive, somebody's there. Is that all about taking pride and supporting each other on the court?
Well, I really thought, you know, McQuaid started it. But the other guy, Xavier Tillman's really good. And I was proud of Cassius because I was disappointed him. I challenged him. And, boy, that last 5, 6, 7 minutes, I thought he did a heck of a job. In fairness to him, we're just playing him to death, so we got to figure something out there.
How would you best describe your point guard? I mean, he's just so smooth in everything he does.
He's special. I mean, he's a special kid. You know, he is smooth. That was a heck of a move at the end. Took a lot of coaching to get him to do that move. But you know what? He's been playing better and better. And again, it's the whole thing is I got to get him some rest. So a lot of it falls on me.
Well, Coach, but I think the depth of this team, I showed tonight. Nick Ward, not really a scoring threat, but Xavier Tillman played well. Aaron Henry, a career high. Guys like that really stepping up. How much does that help you moving forward with that depth?
Well, you know, Jimmy, I thought the first half, Kenny Goins was a monster. He got his hands on a lot of stuff. He made a couple shots. He tipped a couple balls loose. But you're right. We have a lot of weapons that can do something. But our offense doesn't look as smooth right now because we got to get a little bit more done. We got to have Nick inside. They did a good job on him. I thought a couple calls were close, but we need Nick in there for sure.
Please, though, with you, Coach, on the fast break, dominated that aspect of the game.
Yeah, we can go. I mean, you know that. We can go. And if we're going without, you know, Josh is that runner. So we're going to get better here, I think. But if we can keep the defense going, the defense travels. We've won some road games. You got to win games on the road.
Hey, Coach, I'm going to say there's a lot of butts in there, but you still got a chance to get that big W. So congratulations.
I love you, Jimmy.
Thanks so much, Coach. We appreciate it. All right, we're going to bring in Cassius Winston, who's hanging out, waiting patiently as we say goodbye to Tom Izzo. Cassius, how are you, man?
Good. How you doing?
Congrats on the win.
Thank you.
All right, so first we you know, your coach says a heck of a coaching job on that move that you did at the end. Take us through that. That was pretty smooth though, behind the back and then the reverse.
Yeah, I mean, it was in transition. You know, we had a break ahead. Just, you know, take what they give me. He cut me off. Just put it on my back real quick, saw the lane.
I know Jimmy, he was smiling out there.
I like the move. And this game is all about challenges. Anthony Cowan coming in, you know, 4+ games of 20+ points. How did you take that, not in regards to just going at him, but as a challenge to one of the premier point guards in the Big Ten Conference?
Like I said, you know, our program is big on taking that one-on-one challenge, you know, just that competitiveness. You know, I knew he was having a great year, knew he was doing a lot of things well. And at the end of the day, I wanted to be the better guard on the floor, and that's just my approach to the game.
How about overall defense for this team? Look, you've been great all year, so it's no surprise what you did to them defensively. But tell me about the collective mindset and what helps you in that department.
We trust each other. You know, you know, I couldn't do it by myself. There's times he blew by me, times my teammates covered my back plenty of times, and that's the faith we got in each other. You know, we close up on a three-point line because we know somebody's our gap, so it makes defense a lot easier.
Well, Cassius, speaking about trust, Nick Ward not effective early because of foul trouble, but Kenny Goins, okay, played with Xavier Tillman played well. Aaron Henry played well. The trust that you guys have in each other, that somebody can step in, is just amazing. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, you know, any given night, we feel like anybody can step up. And that's just, you know, we share the ball, we keep the ball moving. And like I said, we got trust in each and every one of these guys. Each and every guys are, you know, high Division I basketball players and capable of playing on this level in high ways. So if the guy's open, we're going to give them the ball, and we have every faith they're going to hit the shot.
All right, give us last thing. We had a great shot at the end. Give a little hug to your coach. Best thing about playing for Tom Izzo is what, Cassius?
Just his passion and his love for the game. You know, it rubs off on everyone, rubs off on the fans and the whole crowd.
Hey, it's been wonderful to watch. Congrats to that on the win, and keep it going, okay?
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Cassius Winston, one of the stars in this country, leading the show again for Michigan State. He's going to go and celebrate this one. Thanks, Cassius. We appreciate it. Yeah. Michigan State played big. A second half that was dominant, really, in most facets of this one. And they dispose of 13th-ranked Maryland easily here. Their 20th straight conference win. More to come from Breslin after this.